First, a game with their own Season 8 ending prediction for the Greyjoys, Theon, Yara, and Euron. The clues tell me that there's going to be a bad ending for Yara and an even worse ending for Theon. Let's frame it. The story has a lot of hostage and escape subplots. Many of the escapes involve a rescuer. Theon has been on both sides of the equation since the very start.
King Robb thought of you as a brother. Lord Stark raised you among his own sons.
Among them, but not one of them.
Theon was a ward in name, but a hostage in truth. Theon saved Bran from the wildlings, but later, Theon Turncloak captured Winterfell and held Bran and Rickon hostage. Osha eventually tricked Theon and freed Bran and Rickon, so Theon killed the Miller's boys and claimed that he had killed Bran and Rickon. Theon did not have enough men to hold Winterfell though, so Yara showed up and advised Theon to leave with her, a rescue attempt of sorts. But Theon said no, he was the Prince of Winterfell, so he stayed there. In the books, Theon threatened to hang Sir Rodrik Cassell's daughter if Sir Rodrik attacked. Then, not long thereafter, Ramsay's men showed up, defeated Sir Rodrik outside Winterfell, tricked Theon into opening the gates for them, turned on him, and imprisoned him. Theon escaped, but it was a trick. He was recaptured. In the show, Yara tried to save Theon, but Theon was Reek, and Reek would not leave. Theon helped fake Arya escape in the books, and he helped Sansa escape in the show. They flew. But in the books, Theon is not free. After his freedom flight, Theon was captured by Stannis, so Theon's story since the very beginning, it's been centered around the concept of captivity, hostages and torture, escape and rescue attempts. As we approach the ending, Yara is now the one captured, and it's on Theon to rescue her. Since Theon's story has been building towards this very scene since the very beginning, we can probably find some clues in the canon as to how it's going to go down. I tried to do just that, and if I'm right, it's going to be bad. Even worse than I mentioned on some recent live streams. If you didn't know, Theon is a great archer, at least he used to be, before losing 2 fingers on his right hand and 1 on his right. Theon shot down ravens outside the Twins, and as Maester Luwin once said, if you had 100 archers as good as yourself, you might have a chance to hold the castle. This angered Theon, so he threatened to put an arrow through good old Maester Luwin's heart. Theon did put an arrow through the heart of a wildling when he rescued Bran. And at one point, Theon wondered if he may be able to save his own life with that bow, possibly a clue to him using that bow a second time. When Sir Rodrik and Theon parleyed outside Winterfell, Theon threatened to hang Sir Rodrik's daughter Beth if Rodrik attacked, and if you read closely, you'll notice that Theon reflected multiple times about the archers at his back. Similarly, Theon wondered if an archer at Moat Cailin would take him out later on in the story. So Theon is a great archer. He rescued Bran by shooting someone from behind. He feared getting shot in the back himself, and he once wondered if he could use that bow to save his own life. These clues suggest option number 1. Theon takes out Euron with an arrow from behind, just like he did for Bran. But Rickon might remind you that some rescue attempts don't go so well. Arrow in the back. When Theon saved Bran, his arrow had penetrated through the captor's body by half a foot. Robb chastised him.
Have you lost your mind? What have you missed?
Theon easily could have accidentally killed Bran too. So don't be surprised if Theon takes out Euron, but his aim is a little off since he's missing 3 of his fingers now. And because of this, Theon accidentally takes out his sister Yara as well. That'd be wild, but I've got more clues that it may be even worse. Another concept that hovers over both Theon's and Yara's story is a concept of mercy. Holland thought that killing the wolf pups would be a mercy, and Theon offered to give that gift.
Better a quick death. They won't last without their mother.
Right. Give it here.
Osha pleaded for mercy after Theon saved Bran.
Give me my life, my lord, and I'm yours.
And Theon promised mercy after he took over Winterfell. Theon was tortured very badly by Ramsay, so Theon thought of death as a mercy several times for himself. Theon gave the gift to Ralph Kenning in the books, and Theon wondered if he'd be allowed to fight Stannis, how death would be the sweetest deliverance that he could hope for. Theon even thinks about killing false Arya as a mercy. We see the same with Asha. Stannis has Asha captive in the books, and Stannis was burning people. One dude spoke up aggressively enough to get Stannis' men to kill him before they burnt him. Smart move. Asha wondered if she could do the same, so as to avoid the flames. In a pre-release chapter of The Winds of Winter, Stannis captures Theon, and he plans on burning him. So his sister, Asha, she tries to get Stannis to behead Theon as Ned would have. It'd be a mercy compared to being burned. So that's the first of 3 clues, the concept of mercy. Asha has thought about it for herself, and she's tried to get it for Theon. Theon's wanted it for himself, he gave it to Ralph Kenning, and he thought about giving it to false Arya. The second clue that we need to layer in is the concept of kinslaying. Theon was raised as one of Lord Eddard's own sons, so many people looked at Theon as a kinslayer for killing Bran and Rickon, even though he didn't kill them, he killed the Miller's boys. But over and over, Theon says or thinks, I am not a kinslayer. And in the books, Theon once thinks how it's scarce unheard of for a strong, ambitious Ironborn uncle to dispossess a weak nephew of his rights, and usually murder him in the bargain. At the time, Theon claimed that his uncles posed no threat to him. Clearly, that's not the case, so that's the second concept, kinslaying. The third and final topic that we need to layer in is the concept of back-to-back. Before Stannis captured Asha, she fought back-to-back with her lover Qarl. At the end of their fight, Asha notes how a foe came at them with a spear long enough to punch through her belly and Qarl's back as well, pinning them together as they died. That line jumped out at me, so how about this as a payoff for these 3 concepts? Euron is a sick and twisted dude, just like Ramsay. We see one of his men cutting out the tongue of a guy in this scene here, so who knows what he's already done to Yara in the show, or what he may do if Theon is unable to save her. Because of this, Theon may intentionally shoot an arrow or drive a spear through Yara as a last resort, as a mercy. 2 for the price of 1. Check, check, check. Theon didn't kill Bran and Rickon, but he'll end the story a kinslayer twice over nonetheless. How do you like them apples?
It was the only thing to do, so I did it.